Making love should always be an enjoyable experience, respectful of the other. Nevertheless, it takes two to have sexual relations, and it does happen that one of the partners changes their mind after having begun and no longer wants to pursue the sexual act. Consent is an essential element at the heart of any sexual act. The partners must agree and be willing during the entire act. The decision to have sexual relations or not remains a choice which must be voluntary, informed, and respected. The person who wants to begin a sexual relationship has a responsibility to ensure that his partner consents to it. He must be sure. Believing that one's partner has consented is not sufficient. The consent must be clear. It must be expressed through words, actions, or behavior. A person's silence is not synonymous with their consent. In the absence of an answer, it's no. Sexual consent can be withdrawn at any moment. A yes can become a no, whether it is because the desire is no longer there or because the sexual act is going in the wrong direction for one of the participants. This no must be respected regardless of what was agreed to prior. A person must be conscious and lucid in order to give their consent. An unconscious person, whether they are sleeping or have lost consciousness, is unable to consent to a sexual act. Likewise, a person who is heavily intoxicated by alcohol or by drugs can be unable to give a valid consent. A person's consenting to sex should not be motivated by the fear of retaliatory violence should they say no, nor by a threat. Sexual consent is a personal matter. This means that we cannot consent for another person. True or false? Beginning at age 16, I can have a sexual relationship with an adult. True. In Canada, the Criminal Code establishes the age of 16 as the legal age of consent. But attention, there are some important exceptions. The Criminal Code does not recognize consent from a minor when the partner is a person in a position of authority, for example, a teacher, an employer, a trainer, a coach. In a position of trust, for example, a member of the family or a psychologist. In a relationship where the minor is being exploited. Through these exceptions, we want to protect minors from situations where their partner could make abusive use of their position to obtain consent to sexual activity that the minor would normally not consent to. True or false? At age 13, I can legally have a sexual relationship with another minor age 17. False. The Criminal Code indicates that a minor aged 12 or 13 years old can consent to a sexual relationship with another minor as long as the latter is less than 2 years his senior. A young person of 14 or 15 years of age can consent to a sexual relationship with another young person as long as the latter is less than 5 years his senior. The consent of a minor aged 12 or less is never valid. What is sexual assault? Sexual assault is when a person carries out an act of a sexual nature when the victim has not consented. Thus, simply touching, which is non-consensual, will be considered as sexual assault. By having sexual relations in the absence of valid consent, the partner at fault exposes themselves to criminal charges. An entire section of the Criminal Code is devoted to offenses of a sexual nature, which include incest, child pornography, luring children, etc. If the victim is less than 16 years of age, the aggressor could be charged with sexual touching of a minor or inciting a minor to touch for sexual purposes. If the aggressor is in a position of authority, confidence, or dependency with regard to the minor as victim, he can be charged with sexual exploitation. Child pornography are images in which figure representation of sexual organs, the anal region of a minor, or a minor in the process of engaging in explicit sexual activity are represented as such. Young persons in relationships are sexting more and more often without being aware of the consequences. Even if it is to have fun, these actions can lead to your arrest. An adolescent commits a criminal offense when he takes pictures of another minor or films him while the latter is naked or is exposing his sexual organs. He shares these same images with his friends via text messages or on the internet. He shares without the consent of the concerned person images of them while they are naked or engaging in sexual activity. The first sexual experiences should be pleasant and approached in a climate of mutual respect. Sexual relations are not limited to penetration. They involve a set of gestures and acts which allow getting to know oneself better and to better understand one's partner. For a successful experience, one has to be able to listen to oneself and to the other.